Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday, May 14th. And today I'm excited because we're going to be sharing, some email stuff. And I know you guys love talking about email as far as how to get better opens, how to send email that have people really enjoy what you're sending them and you're not just selling them. But I've got a subject line that I used the other day, and it worked really, really good. Now, there's a couple reasons why it worked really well, but there's also ways that you can learn from this and then also reuse it. That's the cool thing about when you're writing email, you can test certain things, and from there, you can repurpose them, or you can put another twist on it. So I'm going to be sharing with you what that is. And also, I wanted to remind you that tomorrow, which is Friday, is going to be another Friday jam session. So if you are new to the Take Action Morning Show, welcome. But on Fridays, what we're doing now is we're calling these our Friday jam session. That's where we're going to dive into some of your questions. We're going to do a question and answer round. That's our jam session. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. If you have any questions you want me to answer, tomorrow will be the day that we'll be doing that. And I always love hanging out and jamming with you guys on Fridays. Now, that will also be an episode on the podcast, which is a rebranded podcast now, formerly known as the Amazing Seller Podcast, is now Rock Your Brand Podcast. And that is going to be airing our Friday jam sessions there about a week behind. So if you want to be here and you want to be part of the podcast and part of our jam session, all you need to do is show up here, and Fridays that will be happening. All right. So again, do me a favor though. If you guys are just tuning in, maybe this is your second time, third time, whatever, invite a friend. Invite a friend to come out and hang with us in the morning, and we can help each other. I'm really here to help inspire you, motivate you, and really get you to take massive action on your business and your life. So this way here, we can go out there and, live the best life ever. All right. Now, yesterday, I got a good feedback. Before I jump into today, I got a lot of feedback about this guy. So do you guys know what this was about? If you guys were on yesterday, you know what this was. This was our little symbol here that was in my laundry room for about 3.5 years, actually. And then once I read the book, The Carpenter, it all made sense. This literally was hanging in my laundry room. And in the book, The Carpenter, he was talking about giving his new friend a wooden heart. And he wrote on it, love, serve, care. And that is the message. So hopefully you guys really thought long and hard about that and maybe even wrote it down yesterday. So cool. Let's see who's showing up today. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs. Karen, of course, is in the house. What's up, Karen? Good morning. You need this. Well, I think what you mean is you need this topic that we're going to be talking about here today. And that is we're going to be talking about a recent test and really the one simple email subject line that always gets more opens and clicks. All right. And I used this this past week. And I'll share with you what that looks like and how you can take that and use it within your own business. Good morning, Renee. How are you? Mr. Scott, you said. Hey, Renee. Ty Linda, good morning. I'm ready to take action today. You're always taking action. You're crushing it. You're taking action on going out there and buying your camper so you can travel the world. And you had to get your new truck. I mean, come on. I mean, that's like seriously taking action. Kate, what's up? Good morning from beautiful sunny Idaho. What is happening? Salama, what's up? Karen, okay, so my open rates have been 35.8%, which is amazing. I will speak to that though, because I think you have probably about 100 people on your email list. Your open rates are always going to be high when you have a smaller list. As it grows, they start to go down a little bit, and it's okay. We'll talk about like what the industry standard looks like, but also how you can give that a little bit of a boost every now and then. I'm happy with that for now, but want to improve it too. The click rate is 26.3%. All right, we got to talk, Karen. Don't get used to those numbers. anyone listening right now, do not get used to a 35, 40% open rate when you are growing your list. That's a very high open rate and a very high, massive. I mean, are you sure that's a 26 or is it 2.6? Because 26.3% on a click is high. So that means that you got out of a list of 100, you got like 26 people to click, which is great. All right. Those numbers are really, really strong. Again, as we grow, that will probably drop. It most likely will. James Carroll, what's up? I got your email, James, and you had said something like there might have been a miscommunication as far as you're not dropping the ball. You just had some tech issues. Totally get it, man. Totally get it. Yeah, I wasn't at all saying like you're just not getting stuff done. It's just a matter of sometimes things happen, but let's just get out of our own way. Let's get the right tech and let's get to it. And that's what you're doing. So kudos to you, man. Karen says, I ordered the book. Oh, you did? The Carpenter. Yeah, it's a great book. Great book. Good morning, Rebecca. Derek, what's up? Good morning. Deborah, good morning to you. Aaron, is it Aharon? Good morning. I don't even know if I pronounced that. I apologize for that. If I don't say your name right, it's just because I'm not good with names. Jana, what's up? Good morning. Mike Smiley in the house. And Troy's in the house today. Troy, we were talking about you yesterday. Positively, by the way. Funny guy. All right, so let's kind of get down on it. That's who knows what song that, or who sang that song? Anybody know that? Just from that little bit. Anybody know that? Drop it in the comments. Let's have a little fun here this morning, this Thursday morning. Anybody? Who's going to be the first? We'll get 1,000 points to whoever answers that correctly. Get down on it. Come on in. A little bit more. Did you need a little more? I'm waiting. It's going to be a little bit of a delay here. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Oh, Thailand, I love the new video. Troy. Yes, Troy did a great job on that video. Derek has a question. What would you put in subject line selling a member course about unprocessed foods? Okay, we can dig into that for sure. Well, I guess no one knows what that song was. So I guess we'll have to move on. If you guys do understand if you guys know the song that I was trying to describe there. Oh, there we go. Helene got it. Cool in the gang. Yes. 1,000 points goes to Helene. All right. Let's get down on it. What do you say? Someone said the Bee Gees. Letitia. Nope, not the Bee Gees. All right. Let's do this. All right, so let's talk about the email subject line that I recently sent that did really well. And again, I think I should probably let you guys know about opens and clicks. All right. Whenever you are sending an email to a smaller list, so we're talking 100 people, let's say, okay, and it's fairly new. Let's say you just built that list of 100 people in the last week. Once you send an email to those people, it's going to be higher. I would typically look for anywhere between a 45 and a 65% open rate on something like that. So if I let's say I was giving away, I'll give you an example. We have a checklist called Brand Growth Validation Checklist. If you go to brandcreators.com, by the way, I should probably put that up there for you guys. Brand Creators. Right here, if you go to brandcreators.com, you can grab our checklist there. There's a little box there, or actually a big box that says the checklist, and you can grab it, right? Well, once you opt in, get on the email list, and you raise your hand, you're going to get an email. Well, guess what? The open rate on that is going to probably be like 75%. Why is that? Because they want the thing they signed up for, right? Makes sense. When you send a broadcast message, again, if it's related to the thing that they downloaded, probably a good chance that it's going to get a good open rate. So I would typically look for 40 to 50, maybe even 60% within the first month if it's on point with what they signed up for. It has to be on target, okay? So let's just say that that's the case, right? But as we grow that list, okay, some of the people on the list are falling off. They're still on it, but they're falling off, meaning their attention to that thing is falling off. So I'll give you another example. When people signed up to my podcast 4 years ago, right, they were interested in selling on Amazon. I have sensed started talking about things other than just selling on Amazon. As you guys know, the podcast has been rebranded as Rock Your Brand. So those people, some of those people, they're going to open occasionally, but they're just kind of hanging out, right? They're not interested in it anymore. They might not even be interested in selling anymore, but they're like, Scott sent something. Maybe I'll open it up, right? And so the list becomes less warm in a sense, but some people will still open. But that's why we also want to clean our list every now and then, because that can really skew our numbers. So my point I'm trying to make here is, in the beginning, when you're growing your list, you're going to look at your numbers and they're going to be higher. They should be higher. Okay. They should be. And if they're not, then we have a problem. But as you grow your list, and now they're on a broadcast basis. So they've been through a sequence. Let's say that you created a sequence and you're nurturing them. We call that a nurture sequence, right? So let's say that we did that. Well, after, let's say, the first month, there's people that are just going to come in, get what they want, and they're just going to not unsubscribe, and they're just going to be there, right? And so that's a given, right? So I've been doing this now, let's say, for 6 months. You have some people that joined 6 months ago that they open maybe 1 out of 4 emails, okay? But they might still open, and if you're not sending to the unopens, that's why we want to send to the unopens every single time, all right? It's like part of the process. You have to do that. You will always see an uptick in opens by doing that, and clicks. So you always make that part of your process. So what I'm just trying to get you to understand is that when you're looking at industry standards, okay, and people that are doing it right, I'm not talking about like a Best Buy or a Tractor Supply Company or one of those, businesses, because those businesses, it's all about promotion, right? So their open rates are going to be naturally lower, okay? They might see a 5% open rate on 100,000 people on their list, maybe. And they're okay with that because they know that that's typically what's going to happen. It'll get put in their promotions tab, maybe, because they're sending out an email that has promotional things in it, a lot of links, whatever. Or maybe it got flagged as spam. Who knows, right? So you got to understand that. What I usually look for is I want at least a 20% open rate, even on a list that is a year old or 2 years old. Okay. I want to keep it at a 20% or higher. Okay. Now, typically, so when I send an email to any of our lists, I'm always looking for that number. Now, sometimes it'll be 18%, sometimes it'll be 22%, sometimes it'll be 25%. But very rarely will I get it to 30%. Very rarely. Maybe on a secondary email that's a follow-up to it, maybe we'll get that. Okay. But, okay, the other cool thing that we look at is clicks. The clicks inside the email. So there's 2 steps to it, right? We have the one, we got to get them to open. And in order to get clicks, we got to have them open it first, right? So the first part is getting it opened. Okay. So I have a list from the podcast that's we're going back 5.5 years now, right? So there's some people on there, and I've had people say, Scott, I'm not even selling on Amazon. I'm not even selling anything anymore. I'm still on your newsletter list because I want to hear from you. I want to see what you're up to. I want to just be around you. I want to have your inspiration. I want to have your message of the week or whatever, right? And that's awesome. But there's some people that are just not as active. They might read 1 email a month, right, that I send. So I take that in consideration. So just the other day, Monday, okay, I sent out an email to that list. Okay, now I've segmented that list. Okay, I've really segmented to where I have people in the last 60 days that have at least opened 1 email. Okay, so then we segmented those people. And then I have a less engaged list that haven't opened something in 60 plus days, right? So what I do is I always send 1 email dedicated to the engaged list, and then the other one always to the disengaged list. And every single time I send to the disengaged list, the one that really hasn't opened something in a while, I always get an extra 2 or 3% of people that open. Okay. So when you're talking thousands of people on a list, that adds up in a hurry, right? We can add now. Now what happens, and I'm getting a little technical, but I don't want to, but I just want you guys to understand how this works. So what we do is when they open an email on the disengaged list, we automatically put them now on the engaged list because now they've re-engaged themselves. Okay. So again, getting a little technical there, but when you first start and you have a main house list, as we call it, over time, it's going to get disengaged. That's where we need to start separating it. Okay. So with that all being said, the email that I sent out, it went out to both of my segments of my list. And the one that I sent out this past Monday was a 30, let me see what it is, a 31.4% open rate. Typically, I'm getting about a 23 to a 25% open rate. Okay. Now we're talking thousands of emails now. Okay. So we're not talking just 100. We're talking, thousands of emails. There's thousands on one and there's thousands on the disengaged too. We've broken it almost in half, but we got a 31.4% open rate and a 3.3% click-through rate. Okay. Now, again, typically we might get a 1% or a 2% click-through rate. We got a 3.3. So you might say, well, Scott, why? Why was that such a difference? Well, for starters, I had some big news this past week, right? And so if I would have just sent something out and said, hey, I've got something for you, or hey, check this out in the subject line, I wouldn't have really gotten near that. Just wouldn't have. Okay. But what I ended up doing is putting in this here. Okay. And it was breaking news. Okay. Breaking news in brackets. And then to follow up with the curiosity piece, the Amazing Seller podcast retires plus new beginnings. So first off, if I didn't put in breaking news, I still probably would have got a good open rate because people would be like, what do you mean? Like, I don't get this, right? So it's curiosity. But the breaking news part, I've used that in so many other industries. It always works. Now, we're not ever going to overuse that. It needs to be breaking news for either you or it needs to be breaking news for your industry. So if something was on the news and it was breaking news, you can say breaking news. There's nothing wrong with that, right? If you are, if you're teaching or if you are publishing content on a regular basis in an industry, then you can say breaking news. And then you can say, I almost made the news or something like that, right? Like you can even throw that in there. You can have fun with it. Okay. And again, if you have the relationship with your audience, it's not going to come across as you're trying to clickbait them. Okay. If it's seriously breaking news for either you or for an industry, there's nothing wrong with using that. That's in my opinion. And I've done that for years. Now, if you didn't want to say breaking news, you could just do news. Everyone wants to know what the latest news is or news, right? We're all drawn to it. Okay. It could be positive news, right? Like you could say crazy news, right? And then you could be like super excited because this past week, we finally got our new tackle box created and it's ready to ship. I'm super excited, crazy news, right? So anytime that you put news in there, it's going to do well. Okay. Now, please do not overuse news or breaking news. Like, do not do that. Okay. Because then it will become, kind of just like, oh, he's just sending that again. It's not really breaking news. Again, it's that trust issue that you have with your market and with your email list. You never want to jeopardize that. So always be upfront and honest or playful with it, any of that stuff. So that was the subject line that did really well. So breaking news, all caps with brackets, the Amazing Seller retiring ? Okay. So that was different than I had said. My podcast episode was the Amazing Seller retiring plus new beginnings. The email was breaking news brackets, the Amazing Seller retiring ? And so that did really, really well. Now, here's another subject line I've used in the past that works really well too. Did you hear the news ? That's it. Or did you hear the news ? Brand new or new tip, new bass fishing tip, like something like that. Or new bass fishing tip. Can't believe my eyes. Like something like that. Like you can do something like that, or just leave it as an open-ended question, right? Like, again, did you hear the news? But if you're just building your email list and people don't know you yet and they don't know why they signed up for your email list, if you use that, they're going to be like, what the heck who is this? Right? You can only kind of do that stuff where you're not leading with 5 bass fishing tips or 5 best kayaks to catch more bass, right? Like if you don't lead with what you're speaking to, if you haven't built that relationship yet, not going to do well, right? Because people are going to be like, I don't understand. Like, did you hear the news? Right? Like it could be about anything. They don't know who you are yet. So that's why it's so important to create that relationship up front. Very, very important that you do that. All right. So that is my one simple email subject line that always gets more opens and always gets more clicks. Now, because inside the email, okay, you don't necessarily want to give away all of the news. You're just basically letting people know that there's news. It's about this, why maybe this is a thing, and then click here to read the entire post or click here to watch the video, right? I did that linking over to a YouTube video, okay? And because of that, there's over 1,000 people that went over there almost within the first day, right? So that's how you would then promote whatever you're talking about in the email. Is you would add more curiosity. You would add details, but more curiosity to it. All right. And then that way there, you're able to then give them what you are explaining. Right. So guys, if you have any questions, drop them in there. What I was going to do here is I wanted to share something with you. Let's see here. Yeah. So I'll just, what I'm going to do? I'm going to read this real quick. I just want you guys to see this. So now let me ask you this though, before I do, did any of you receive the email from me this Monday? Or even now, if you didn't receive the one on Monday, you might've received it on Tuesday because I sent to the unopens. If you didn't open it, you've seen it, but you didn't open it, you would have gotten another email that would have been just slightly tweaked on that subject line. So before I read that, I want to see if you guys have read that or if you guys got it. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, hey, Jennifer from Albuquerque. What's up? Okay, so Salomon, you have an idea for a coffee talk. Awesome. Yeah. If you guys have any ideas for coffee talks, let me know. Let's see. Okay, Karen says, yes, I received it. Ashley said, got it. Yep. Letitia says, got it. Okay. Salomon wants to know writing nurturing email sequences. Yeah. Derek says CNN overdoes breaking news. Yes. Again, and that's why we would not want to overuse it. Amanda, what's up? How are you doing? Derek wants to know where I got the shirt. I actually got it from Pat Flynn. It's a nice shirt. Is it better to have an email that's based on domain versus? Okay, we can talk about that here in a minute. All right. Okay, Rebecca says, got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. So must listen interview on Monday. Yeah, so Monday was all about kind of like the decision and all of that stuff. And then Wednesday was all about like what's to come. So yeah, it's explaining the whole transition here. But what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to read that email to you. So let me just, and I'll talk through it. So basically more breaking news, what you can expect, right? So Monday, I dropped some pretty big news about retiring the Amazing Seller podcast, but also announcing the new name and direction of the Rock Your Brand podcast. Oh, wait a minute. Time out. This was my second email. This was the follow-up to the first email. So I went on to explain that. Let me go back. This one here is, I followed up on the breaking news. Bear with me, guys. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Here it is. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here it is. All right. So it starts off. It says breaking news, the Amazing Seller retiring. Okay. So today I have some pretty big news to share with you that has been in the works for a long time. I'm excited to finally announce it and let you hear behind the scenes of this big decision. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Smiley face. I explained everything here on today's podcast, hyperlinked, going to the podcast episode on YouTube. If you want to listen versus watch, go to wherever you listen to the podcast. The last 5 years has been awesome as The Amazing Seller podcast, and thank you for being a listener. But this will be a new chapter, and I want you to come along with me. Smiley face. I'll be explaining more on what to expect Wednesday. For now, check out the big news, and then that's in brackets, and it's a hyperlink going over to the episode. Oh, and I'm not going anywhere. Smiley face. Remember, I'm rooting for you always. Scott. P.S. The other news I have is I decided to name the new morning coffee talk too, the Take Action Morning Show, and you can join us here at 10 a.m. Eastern. So again, just a little subtle drop there in the PS, letting people know about the big news. That's it. Like, that's the email. So again, I explained a little bit of what's happening, but then I left it open that you want to hear more details, right? Because I could have wrote this whole email like a mile long explaining everything, but why would I do that? Like, why, right? So that's what the email looked like. Just to kind of show you, it doesn't have to be fancy. Amber, not Amanda. I'm sorry. It's something Am. Sorry. I guess we need more of this. That's funny. Sorry about that. Sorry, Amber. All right. Let me go to some questions here. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you actually, there's two things. If you want to show up tomorrow, I'm doing a jam session here that's going to be recorded for the podcast, and I will be answering any of your questions there as well. So if there's any questions I can't answer here today, I can answer tomorrow. Show up tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time here. And if you want to be part of the Take Action Morning Crew, you can go to takeactioncrew.com, and that will take you to the Facebook page. If you're on YouTube, you can just stay put. Just make sure that you have your notifications set. And we can totally do that. The other thing is we are running. Let me see if I can't do this. Let's see. We are doing a contest right now. You guys know I love doing contests. We're doing a contest right now. And let me see if I can share my screen here. Yeah, I can share it right there. Yeah, and we're doing this right now. So this is happening. We're going to do a big giveaway. So it's the Ultimate Brand Building Bundle, valued at $2,087. So if you go to, I should put that in there, rockyourbrandpodcast.com, you can go to this page, you can enter, and we're going to be picking a winner in 28 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 39, 38, 37 seconds. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing to do a relaunch here of the podcast and to really let the world know. And we would love for you to help us share the new podcast or the rebranding of the podcast, the relaunch. So if you guys want to do that, just go to rockyourbrandpodcast.com and you'll go to this page, put your name and email address in there. And then from there, you'll be sent an email, by the way. It'll be just a very simple, short email. And it will also remind you that you can share it and get more entries. It's also on the thank you page after you enter your name and email address. So go check it out if you're interested. All right. So let me go and talk again about tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to do a Friday jam session. Again, if you want your questions answered, make sure that you show up back here and we can go ahead and answer them. All right. So let me answer a few of these questions here quickly before we jump. Let's see. Derek says, so you are am I tagging all my emails? Not all of our emails. What we do is we segment when we do want to create these segments, right? So we add a tag to that. Or if we're doing something for an upcoming training, right? So if we are doing something that we just want to get some feedback from the people without them having to enter their name and email address again, we can just have them click a link. And when they click the link, it will add a tag to them. So it doesn't add them to another list. It just adds a tag. Then I can just send directly to people that have a certain tag. That's it. It's pretty simple. Salama, how do you write nurturing email series that get opened? Again, I wouldn't overdo it with length. I would do it more of quality. So the very first one would be like, if they were signing up for a free download, right? Or let's say that you signed up for the contest, right? You would be, or I would probably email something like, important details about the brand building giveaway, or something like congratulations, you're in, or something like that, right? The other thing I've done that works really, really well, very well. Take note of this, guys. If you're have a piece of paper, make sure you note this. I've done this a lot. Let's say that you download, let's say a download of let's say a PDF, right? Or something like the brand growth validation checklist. You might get an email from me that says, lowercase, it's Scott, ... Is there, or did you get the download? ? Right? Or it's Scott, ... Any questions? ? Right? And then inside of that, it would be like, hey, Salama, I noticed that you just downloaded our brand growth validation checklist. If you have any questions, let me know. If you need the link again, here it is. And if you have any questions, just drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. Talk to you later, Scott. And that's it. And what's going to happen is you're going to get email back from people. And then that is also going to allow you to get through the spam traps. Because the biggest thing that we want to do is we want to show up in someone's inbox and we want them to open the email, because then that shows Google or Gmail or Yahoo or whatever that you are wanting to receive email. So that email needs to be very, very stripped down. And then from there, your sequence can just be stuff that are things that are helping through that process for whatever they signed up for. So for me, I'll give you an example. This here, the playbook, okay? Pretty good sized book, by the way. 6 parts to it, right? I mean, it's got a lot of detail in here. It outlines everything that you need for building a brand, right? Everything from market research and all of that stuff, right? Everything is in here. But I know that people they're gonna buy this for $4.99, and they are probably just going to let it sit on their computer because they forget about it or whatever. Or they might download it and then they forget about it on their computer somewhere, right? So what I do is the minute they download it, I say, hey, thanks so much for grabbing your playbook. Make sure you print it out. That's step number 1. And number 2, let me know if you have any questions, right? That's it. Boom. The next email, maybe 2 days later, is like, hey, I'm just checking back in with you. I want to make sure that you're able to get through part 1, which is finding your market. If you have any questions on that, let me know. And you should be advancing into phase 2 here very shortly. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Boom. Next one. Hey, Scott, again, just checking in with you. I want to make sure that you're getting through the material. You should be in phase 2 right now, or part 2. If you have any questions on that, let me know. But right now, that's a big part of setting everything up, your home base, all of that stuff. So I'm kind of taking people back to the content. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I got to get back to it. Right? So I'm constantly showing up to help them get through the material, right? If you signed up for not even a guide, let's say it was a contest. If you're signing up for a contest, I'm going to follow back up with helpful, useful content, but also saying like, hey, there's a couple more weeks before we pick the winner, right? Just dropping in. I'm staying present with those people. So don't overcomplicate the sequence. It really is simple if you think about the journey that they're on. I could just assume that people are going to download this and print it out and they're going to be set. I'm like, okay, good. You got it. Bye. You're good. Have a good time with it. We all know reality is that's not the case, right? So you want to constantly be showing up to help them with what they just downloaded. And that also creates new opportunity to talk about other things, right? So if you download this and you print it, you are also now, I know, into building a brand. So then I can follow up with you and say, hey, we're going to be doing this new Pinterest training coming up. It's a workshop, which by the way, I haven't dropped it yet, but we are going to do a Pinterest workshop. It's going to be a paid workshop. I'm going to give away really the strategy on the podcast. So I'll detail that all out, but we're going to do a small workshop. I'm actually getting my daughter to come in and teach it with me because she's the one that's actually done a lot of it. And that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll let you guys know more on that. But you see, if they're into the brand building thing, there's a good chance they might be interested in learning the Pinterest side of things that we've been able to use in our brands, right? Or maybe it's how to build a website, or maybe it's Brand Creators Academy because we have that. So there's free, there's paid, right? There's other things that they can be a part of because now I know that they want to build a brand. but I also want to get feedback from them. So any questions they have, I want to know them immediately, because then I can help correct those. I can help fix those, right? I can have an email sequence that goes out that helps that question. Because if one person had it, 9 others probably did too. They just didn't email you. Okay. All right. That was long-winded. All right. Let's see. A couple more. How often do email initially? Depends. If they have just signed up, it's going to be more frequently. But generally, I like at least 2 times a week, and preferably it might be 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That's kind of the sequence. All right. Is it better to create your membership separate from your website? Oh, great. Membership question. Yes, I believe so myself personally. That way it's not, the membership isn't putting strain on that, or vice versa, right? So I do like them separately. And I also like to use a platform that is built for it. So we use Kajabi. It's totally separate, although it's built off of our domain. It's just not hosted on our host itself. So Kajabi is separate, but it seems as though it's connected and you wouldn't know it, right? Because you're still in brandcreators.com. It's actually learn.brandcreators.com is our training section. But the website, the podcast, the website, the blog content, the podcast posts, all of that stuff is on its own host. Yeah, I like to keep them separate if I can. Lloyd, what's up, man? Hey, Scott, by you just explaining this about your playbook validates what we're saying the other day about serving and caring. Wooden heart in action. Yeah, it is pretty much. Again, guys, I could sit here and think of 100 ways that I could sell you stuff, but that to me is not going to give me as much, number one, satisfaction as helping all of you, even if it's for free. And there's going to be a few of you that will come in eventually and do something with me. It might be Brand Creators Academy. It might be purchasing the playbook. It might be coming to a workshop. It might be coming to an online workshop. The Pinterest one that we got coming up. Which, yeah, I mean, so you're right. Yes, I try to follow that as best as possible. All right, couple more, and then we got to jump. And tomorrow, remember, if you're just tuning in, tomorrow is our Friday jam session. Who's going to be here tomorrow? I want you to raise your hand right now and say, yes, I'm in, right? So whoever's going to be here tomorrow, I want you to commit to it right now. Who's going to be here tomorrow for our Friday jam session? I want to see who's going to be jamming with me tomorrow. Salma says, please do a coffee talk on searching viability of a market and what exactly to look for. How big should the search be on Uber Suggest, for example? Yeah, we can do another example of those. I do a lot. Organize with Grace. I'm there. All right. You can always come over here too, over here on YouTube or Facebook, but Instagram's cool. Let's see here. Yeah, Kate says, I'm in. Pedro, I'm in. Derek, should we test our emails regularly to see how they are doing? Well, you are going to be testing if you are sending emails out frequently, right? You're going to be able to see the subject lines and you're going to see how they perform, right? So yes, James, I'll be there. Awesome. Ashley, going to try to be there, but have LASIK surgery about an hour later. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, LASIK. My wife had that years ago, and it's just starting to wear off a little bit. So she might have to have a little tune-up. Justin says, I fell asleep, just woke up. Justin, I know it's midnight in Australia. I appreciate you so much for hanging out with us. Wow, that's funny. Lloyd says, yep, be there. All right, cool. Yeah, okay, Organize with Grace is okay, going to YouTube. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's do this real quick. One last reminder on this. If you guys want to join our little fun little giveaway, our little contest, go to rockyourbrandpodcast.com and you can enter there. On the next page after you enter, you're going to see other ways that you can get entries. Okay, up to 10 extra entries. All right, one way is to just go over and follow us on Instagram. And you'll get, I believe it's 10 extra entries. And YouTube, the same thing. And then also you can share it with someone. And if they end up entering, you'll get extra entries for that as well. So again, we follow what we preach here. We're doing a contest as a way to give value to the market. I'm giving away a full year to Brand Creators Academy, which you can't even get in right now. We're not going to be opening again until July. All right. So you're going to get a full year of that. You're also going to get a one-on-one coaching call with me, 30-minute coaching call. And you're also going to get recordings from last year's Brand Accelerator Live 2019, a full 2.5 days of recording. All you need is popcorn, your living room, a TV, and you can be at the event. You can experience that entire event. So that's what you're going to have the chance to win. All you need to do is throw your name in the hat, and we will go ahead and pick a winner, and we will announce it here as well. All right. So I think that's it. Just show up tomorrow, guys. We're going to be here doing a Friday jam session. And I would love for you guys to be here with me on Fridays, especially. All right. And also share this with someone that you think that would get value from this. Do that for me. And as always, if you're on YouTube, you can go right here, and there's going to be a playlist after this is live, after the recording is up. You will see a playlist right here of all of our past coffee talks. All right. So you can go through and see which one you want to go back and listen to. And I'm always going to be trying to create new coffee talks that we can just show up, be inspired, motivate each other, and take massive action to go out there and create an amazing life. All right, guys. So that's it. As always, take care, take action, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and rock your brand. See you guys.